Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a fireside chat from breaking paths to bound scripts. Our moderator is Mikhail Svensson. He is head of Southern Sweden Film Commission. Mike will be chatting with Ashwiny Iyer Tiwari, film director, producer, and screenwriter.
I think people are interested in your stories. I mean, you seem to be a storyteller of high rank. And what makes you choose the stories? How do you get stories? How do you find the stories, and why?
I think I work a lot on insights and human stories. So for me, characters and the rootedness of characters from a place really makes a lot of difference. And I just thrive on seeing characters who have some kind of gray areas in them. And a country like India, there are so many characters and the locations are so different that I try to breathe from the locations from there. So if you see any of the films which I've made, these are just 4, but there are others also. I've tried with each film of mine to shoot in a different location and to imbibe those qualities of the location or where I'm shooting into my films. So Nilbate Sanada was shot in a place called Agra, where I wanted to show a love between a mother and daughter on the backdrop of the Taj Mahal, which is usually an epitome of love between a man and a woman. Then I shot Bareli Ki Barfi in a place called Lucknow, which is like a very heartland place, now not at all a midtown anymore. It's become a proper city. So Lucknow and Bareilly is where I shot that in, and I try to take characters from those places. Then, of course, you've seen Bawal, which is shot across Europe, because we literally went to those places where World War II happened and how that affected, human personal relationships. That's a story which I had purely because I just felt that it was a story about a husband and wife who wanted to go and explore their relationships. And for Indians, traveling outside the country is like a travel thing, because most of we now travel a lot, and it's nice to explore various countries to see what they can imbibe with our culture and what we can do. There's other web series which I shot, which is called Fadu, where I shot half of the film in Serbia, and I shot half of it in Mumbai and in Konkan in Maharashtra. So there is a lot of relationships in terms of how I look at the characters and how the location and how people imbibe the characters. So I've heard this a couple of times where people look at my film and they say that, you can literally smell the fragrance of the rootedness or the culture or the place when they see my films. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you for that long, lovely answer. So you feel that you adapt the stories to the location or opposite? I mean, we as film commissioners, we love locations. We want everything to be shot on location. But that seems to be important for you.
Yes, for me, on locations, I'm a very on location director, and most of the people, my cinematographer or my assistant directors, whoever I work with, kind of knows that is because I can just even in a crowded place like Lucknow, I've sat in one bike, like a scooter. I've kept the DOP in the front. I have sat behind, and that to reverse, and there is the car shot happening. So I can go mad on locations. So they kind of know. There are a lot of people who call me crazy, but I love shooting on locations. When I'm tied up in a closed place, I find it very claustrophobic. Yeah.
You're the new favorite of film commissions. You know that. They're going to hunt you down and show them their locations. Yeah. So when you write your stories about families and it's rural, and do you think that the rest of India, the Bollywood, I don't know what to say, the way Bollywood makes film, do you think they lose that and try to do more glamorous films? Do you think they should do more of regular life films?
No, I think we are a very rich storytelling country, and we have all kinds of stories. So we have the entertaining stories, we have the comedy stories, we have the song and dance stories, and there is an audience for all kinds of cinema here, and there's nothing right or wrong, and it's amazing to see all kinds of storytellers telling all kinds of stories in various locations. But at the end of the day, the audiences come for the kind of cinema they like, and also with the OTT platforms coming in, it has got a lot more opportunities for filmmakers to tell all kinds of stories, which are even more experimental. So I would love to see where does this go from here now, and it just gives us more scope to tell all kinds of stories. So there's nothing right or wrong. There is a huge audience. I think the Bollywood song and dance is world famous, and I think we're very proud of it. And you will see that there would be a scene, and suddenly the song and dance is happening in a beautiful location, and that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine, and we love it. And we love those bright saris, and we love those bright colors, and to wear like beautiful saris in a cold mountain. I'm fine with that, because it's nice. It takes you to a magical world, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
So what kind of messages and emotions do you want to create with your stories?
I like all kinds of stories, so but I like stories which I can do comedy. I think the only thing which I may not be able to do is horror, because I'm not that kind of person. I don't think so. I cannot see horror. I cannot make horror. I once saw one horror film and I could not handle it. So maybe I won't be able to do horror, but otherwise I'm fine with everything. I'm looking forward to do a out and out action film, but which has emotions. So anything which I do, I need to have the characterization and the emotions very clear, and the characters have to have a rounded emotion attached to it, and there has to be a strong storyline. But I think it's very important for us as storytellers to be open and not be tagged to one kind of storytelling. And for me, I've always been known for telling very India-rooted stories from small towns. Bareilly Ki Barfi was one of a kind, which started off the whole idea of telling stories from the small town India. But I would love to shoot something in Sweetwood.
Oh, nice. That's lovely. How do you think that your job, because you've done a career in advertising as well, how do you think that influences your work right now?
Advertising, I was working in an agency called Leo Burnett, and advertising helps us actually get into the insights of consumer behavior. And it's also because once you know a consumer, once you know insights, they know how to pick up what kind of brand or communication we are doing. Storytelling in that way helps us a bit to know who your audience is, because we make cinema, but cinema cannot be consumed by everyone, in the sense that some people may like the kind of cinema you're making, but maybe someone wants to just watch a all and out comedy. So it's very targeted in terms of how and what your objectivity is very clear when you come from an advertising background.
And how do you approach when you're writing about this? It's often really strong women. And how do you approach the script writing and the directing in that sense?
It just happens, that's the most difficult question, but an idea comes sometimes anywhere, and you kind of write it down in your iPad or in your notebook, and then you start developing it slowly and steadily, and you go and tell your closest ones that this is the idea you have, to just get some kind of validation. In my case, of course, my husband is also a director and writer, and we kind of discuss the idea, but then you have to move on and start writing, and this shut the chaos outside you and just concentrate. So I think as a filmmaker, we all across the world have a very yin yang kind of places, because right now here I'm sitting with all of you all and discussing something which is a very outward kind of thing, a very yang thing. And if I was writing from morning today, I would have been in no mood to come and meet so many people. So it's a very inward and outward journey. So there are days when you completely no Twitter, no Instagrams, nothing. And there are some days when you're only on Instagram and Twitter all day. So it's a place you're in. Yeah.
Do you feel that the Indian film industry is mostly male oriented?
I think we have a lot of directors who are women right now, and a lot of technical team who are a lot of women right now. And I must say that I'm very privileged to be in a country where we have so many women who are in leading positions, and including in the industry right now, we have a lot of women who are directors and who are cinematographers. Yes, it's less, but still it's not so less right now. So when I started off, so in advertising, I've finished about 25 years. In advertising, we never had that kind of issue. But when I started off from into filmmaking, I did see that it would be like a 2:10 proportion. But now I think it's almost become, I would say, a 5:10. And we would love it to be 8:10. So right now we just make a effort to, with the amount of films which are happening, and if you see most of the studio heads, whether you see Netflix, are all women. And we make an effort to imbibe the idea that in every film we make, you need to have like one woman amongst two men. And that's an effort everyone is making. It's not just the women who are making the effort, it's coming from everyone. It's the men and the women who are making an effort. And I'm very happy to say that we have so many storytellers right now who are women, and there are a lot of men who are supporting women to be forward there. So it's there. It's not enough. I would never say it's enough, but it's already a very good start. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for young female filmmakers who want to get into the industry?
In Hindi, there is a saying called "Don't wait, किसी के लिए रुको मत, मैदान में जाके कूदो." So that means that do not wait for anyone to approach you, and they are going to help you, take your hand, and lead you along. Just jump into the jump into the arena and start find your way. Yeah.
In the former panel, they talked about
the one thing which is really nice is that initially we never had too many film schools, and right now we have a lot of film schools which have come across the country, whether it's north, south, east, west. And when you have legit film schools coming up, which are media schools, then it just makes it more prominent as a occupation, as a profession, where there are a lot of women who are taking up filmmaking as a profession. So some of the nicest colleges and schools like FTII, we know that Payal Kapadia, who's a woman director from FTII, won a CAN this year. Kiran Rao, whose film Lapata Ladies is the official entry for Oscars this year. So they're all women. So we are very proud to have so many women who are including the official film from UK called Santosh is a film which is a Indian UK film, but again by a woman director. So I think we are there everywhere now. So we're proud of it. Yeah.
That's great. In another panel today, they talked about the current situation of the Indian film industry. What's your take on that? Very general.
I think we just have to work hard, and like life, there are ups and downs. Nothing is easy. It can't be green all the time. So like the weather, there is autumn, spring and winter. the Hindi film industry is also going through autumn, spring, and winter. So it's fine.
And you have tried to shoot abroad as well. What are the challenges shooting abroad? What did you meet?
Okay. So
Let's get her started.
So when we're shooting in India, we have a 12-hour shift, and we're kind of little lenient there, because we'll say, okay, let's just do half an hour more, and everyone is very nice, and okay, fine, tomorrow you just reduce it a bit, all that. But when I'm shooting abroad, everything is very I can't move the camera from here to here. If I've decided that this is where I'm going to be shooting, I have to shoot there. What if my mind changes something and I just wanted to not put the rig here, but here? Because suddenly my actors discuss something with me. I'm not allowed to do that. So, it's a little difficult, is because we still come from a very fluid way of telling stories, including as Indians, we're very pally, and we just do our work, and we have elaborate lunches and breakfasts and dinners, which I'm sure a lot of people will agree with. We are okay with not having so much of food outside the country, but a little bit of leniency would be okay. Because what happens is that, suppose there's something which doesn't work out, then the after effects, because it's so strict in terms of the rules, sometimes things don't work out, and then cost effectiveness, I must say that, is because it just becomes a little expensive. And there's no leverage there. Yeah.
I have an example from Sweden when they were shooting outside the church, and then it started raining quite heavily, and they said, let's do it inside the church instead. It's no way. That was completely impossible.
Yes, you got it right. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about. Yeah.
I read somewhere that you are a fan of Woody Allen. I just want to wonder why.
I'm a fan of David Fincher. I really like him. Woody Allen, because of the kind of films he has said in terms of characterization, in terms of the little comic timing of taking the characters not too seriously and just creating a moment out of a situation. And then, of course, we have... but I'm a big fan of David Fincher. I hope to meet him one day, because he can make Social Network, and he can make the recent film which he on Netflix. So he's 7. He can make anything. He can make anything. So yeah,
we'll arrange that. He shot in Stockholm for a long time.
Okay.
So you're also working with your husband. Is that?
We work quite a bit together, but otherwise we work separately. So I think it's better that way, is because our intention, Baval is directed by him, the story is mine. So we've written the screenplay together. It's better because our intention is the same, but our style of filmmaking is very different. So Tarla, another film, we have produced it together. So we want to tell the similar kind of stories, but we make sure that we don't interfere in each other's work. And we keep it that way is because then each one grows. And then initially it used to happen, but now it doesn't, is because the first intent would be that, she has not made this film, he has made this film. And the mindset is that, but now the mindset has changed completely, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
You're a producer, you're a writer, director. What do you like most and why?
If you ask me in sequence, and I'll tell you why. Direction, because you get to work on so many different things. You get to travel, you are with your crew, you work on music, you work on art. I'm an art director by profession. I've done my applied arts, so I love art, I love music. So I love direction because you're just there. I love producing is because it just gives you a little kind of, almost like a victory moment when you see everything coming together and you see your people shining there. And that happens also with a director. I like writing also, but writing you need to shut off. In today's day and age, what happens is that if you cannot shut off, then, writing takes really long. And it's a very isolated process. So in that order, direction, producing, writing.
But if you produce and direct, Aren't there any problems in that?
No, but then I have a very strong producing partner. I draw the line is because I kind of realize that when directors also take up producing, your mind gets divided between the producing and the direction, and sometimes it's not good for your own sanity, and sometimes not good for your own storytelling. So if you have a strong producing partner, of course you're the producer, all that is okay. Honestly, there are some name tags. At the end of the day, what kind of story you're saying is what is important. So I do not believe in these tags, but yes, I do believe in the tag of a director is because they're telling the story. But I feel that it's important to have a very strong producing partner and not take the onus of everything on yourself, because that's when the respect for you as a director, as a storyteller will diminish when you start looking at the numbers, and the numbers will start affecting on the way you're looking at a story. Because sometimes I do need certain things for a certain budget, and if I keep a producing hat, then I'm going to not work on that location. I would not rather do that. Yeah.
I also saw that your films have been remade in several Indian languages. Can you talk about the remakes in India? There's so many. Why do you do remakes in different Indian languages instead of subtitles or dubbing? You do this film over and over again.
So Nilpate Sonata was one film which I think was universally accepted everywhere. I still remember it was in the Film Bazaar in the Work in Progress lab, and we had an Italian editor who said that, is it okay if I can just show this film to my daughter? Reason being, it was called The New Classmate across. It was there in the London Film Festival. It was there in China, everywhere, Toronto and all these places. And so then that's the time I kind of realized that the story, if said well in the most simplistic manner, is a universal story. And it doesn't matter what the language is, it just gets adapted. It's because the relationship between a parent and a child is the same. It's just the language differs. So that's what happened with Nilpate Sonata, where it was made in Tamil, where I only made it in Tamil because I speak the language. And then I was asked to make it in Malayalam, and I said, I can't make another remake in other language. I understand Malayalam. I said, no. So there's a very nice debut director who made it in Malayalam. There was a talk of making it in Gujarati also, which is another language. So that happened. But in today's day and age, with the era of Netflix and Amazon, I think it's very nice to see films we watch across the world, which is being so beautifully dubbed, as if it feels as if you're talking that language with the new AI technology which is coming. It has made things so easy with having languages. You don't have to look at the subtitles, but you actually you see the film in the language you choose to be in.
I think that people want to have a break now before the red carpet. So my last question is, of course, when are you shooting your next project in Sweden?
Let's do a Indo-Sweden film. You come with great ideas, and we'll merge both of it together. It's
Sounds
an
like
era of Indo country. So let's see whatever happens. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.